Welcome to Chapter Diddy Show once again, guys. A show that features women who have made an impact in the society positively. And today we are having Ruth Tanui from the High Court of Kenya. Ruth majorly deals with land issues. Have you ever been conned? Worry no more. Ruth, karibu sana.
Asante.
Yes.
Thank you for having me. By the way, this is a good show where at least you are impacting other women. At least people can see that some things are possible. Yeah. So as you have introduced me, I'm Ruth Tanui, an advocate of the High Court of Kenya. I'm also the founder and managing partner of Ruth Tanui and Company Advocates and an author of Simplified Legal Process of Buying Land in Kenya. It's a book on land where as you have stated that I majorly focus on law. I think the question that people might have, I majorly focus on land law. I think the question that the audience would have is why land law? So land law, it's because it started with when I did my university in Moi University School of Law.
But before we get there, tell me, while you were growing up, did you want to be a lawyer? Let us start there.
Okay. If I've always wanted to be a lawyer. So my passion in law started when I did my A levels from 5 and 6 in Uganda. When I was in Uganda that's when my passion for law came in. I just had the passion for like protecting people's rights. So sometimes I realized just because of not knowing your rights, your rights under the Constitution might be infringed. So that's where now my passion started. So the issue was now my parents, because remember, of course, you might want to do law, but you don't have the money to take yourself to university.
Sure.
So what I did, because my parents were not so sure about me doing law, so I wanted to show them that this is something I really wanted to do. So what I did, just a simple thing, I just made sure I took their phones and saved myself as lawyer Chero. Yes.
So that you convinced them?
Yeah, to convince them. And surprisingly, my dad saw it as, they know, so this must be very serious. I even started telling my siblings to refer to me as lawyer.
Lawyer at home?
At home. That is now before going to university. Yeah, that's
okay.
Before. And somehow it worked in a way. And because now from 6 and I was in Kenya, my dad told me, you should apply. Do you want to go back to Uganda? I was like, no, I want to study in Kenya. So he told me, apply to different universities. Don't apply one course because that's risky.
Yeah.
But I didn't take his advice. We went to Moi University. I only applied for law. I didn't apply anywhere else, any other course. So I just I normally say sometimes you put something to the universe, that this is what I want. And believe me, sometimes you'll get it.
You mean?
Yeah. So I applied for law at Moi University, and my big sister at that time was in Mombasa. And I just went and waited for my admission letter. And luckily enough, I got it. I got the admission letter. That's why the day I received that letter, I did a happy dance because I knew I had no other option. Like if I had not been admitted to do law, there's nothing. I don't know. I would have to start from zero. And my dad had cautioned me, if I don't get that course, I'll just have to find my way, because now for him, he already gave me that chance of choosing different courses.
So you didn't have another option in your mind?
No. I just knew it's law that I want, and it's law I'm going to apply for alone. I even asked my brother, which is the best university in Kenya to do law? According to my brother, I'm not saying Moi University is the best, but according to my brother, it was Moi University. So that's why I went and I applied for law, and I waited for my letter. And
you got the admission?
Yeah, I got the admission.
And the journey started?
That's how now my journey in law school started.
So, when did you develop interest on land law?
Yeah. Okay. The place, it started in Fodhia. Fodhia, we normally do dissertation, but I think I think people call it attachment, but it's dissertation. You have to do after Fodhia. You have to do a paper on something, on a topic. For me, that time I had already started developing interest in land matters, but now that's the time now my interest went deeper. Even if you see my dissertation on land matters, I did illegal acquisitions of land in Kenya. That was my title for the dissertation. And those papers are you do the research, it's so deep. That's when I knew there's a big gap in land matters in Kenya. Like, it's something that started a very long time ago. It's an historical injustice that has started. So it's not something that has just begun now. That's why eradicating it will take time. started with colonial times. During colonial times, the British could just come, they see this land is fertile, they take it. So it's something that started a long time ago. And when they left, there was no procedure for how those properties can be returned back to the original owners. So that, at that time, there were no title deeds, there were no like the right procedure. So that thing I noticed is a very big gap. That's now where my passion in law started.
Yeah.
Land law, sorry.
Land law.
Yeah, land specifically.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Ruth, I know when you talk of land matters, land cases, I know they are so rampant, such that you can't finish all of them. But there are those major, the common ones. Which common cases?
Okay. So the most common ones are people being owned by especially real estate companies. There are a lot of real estate companies that have been established, and most of them they're just out here to like just take people's money. So that's why I normally tell people, and people the mistake they normally do when they are buying from a real estate company, they don't do any search on the company, and you have to do a search on that company to confirm that that company is actually legit. So that's normally the common mistake, because real estate companies will go and they'll sell that property so cheaply. So people go for it. So you find a property 50 by 100 plot is sold at 300,000 shillings. That they've already targeted a big number of Kenyans. So that's why a lot of people got a con, and then you are told if you don't pay for it right now, we'll give it to another person. Yes. So after making the payments, now you just realize there's no title deed. You start following it up. So those are the common cases we have. Someone comes, says, this company, I paid this amount of money, but I haven't gotten the title deed. That is the most common. So people just trusting, not doing the search, not even on the land first, on the company.
On the company.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't do the search on the company. So the first thing, if you're buying it from a real estate company, do a search on that company. Because it's like 680 shillings in eCitizen. You just go to eCitizen business registration, there's a part of make an application, and then you do a search on the company. You get instant results. Like when you just key in the name of the company, you'll get who's the director, if there's an encumbrance on the company. So that the moment now you start by doing that, you even know the people you're going to deal with. So sometimes, if now let's say the director is George, you know that this is the person I'm supposed to be dealing with. So even if they're signing the sale agreement, making payments, you know this is not the person or the company. Now this is a legit company that has been registered. So even if there is anything, you can actually even sue them. For some, you do a search and they don't appear anywhere. So for such a company, they can, if they con you, you can't sue something that doesn't exist. So you can't go to court and sue that company. It doesn't exist. Yeah, it's not even registered.
So you say the first thing you do a search.
Yeah, you do a search on the company. You're buying from a real estate company. And if it's an individual, the first thing you should do, get their national ID, because the title deed has the name of the person and the ID, just to confirm this is the person on the title deed. So make sure you do that. At least you can confirm if it's Beatrice, the ID number is, this is maybe like ABCD, you confirm from the title.
So you're saying, if you're buying a land from me,
yes,
I should give you a copy of my title deed and my copy of ID.
Yes.
It should match.
Yeah, it should match. Because that's the only way I'll know that is actually your property. Because under the law, a title deed is a sign of ownership. Like this person owns this property. Yeah. Now, you take the next step of doing the search on that to confirm that's what's on the land registry, that this is the person who owns this land. So many people make payment even before asking for that copy.
Sure.
Yeah.
Now, Ruth, I have seen, I've gotten a copy of ID, I've gotten a copy of the title deed. I have searched. I have seen to it, it belongs to you. What is the next step?
After doing the search and you've confirmed everything, now you do if you have not done, you need to do a physical visit to that land to go and see it.
Yeah, sure, because sometimes it's not on the ground.
Yeah, so it's important because many people after doing that search, they feel now safe, like now I can go ahead to buy this property. This person is genuine. But you have to go to the land itself so that you ensure it's vacant, because we had a client who went and there was a temporary structure in that property. Temporary structure in a sense, nyumba ya mabati. So at first for her she felt, because now she told the seller, but what about this property? Who lives here? The seller was like, this person is just some old guy. We are going to pay him. After you pay us the money, we pay him off. But now, the client was okay with that explanation, because I'm imagining also if it's just a temporary structure, you'll be like, I think it's not a big deal. But that man had stayed there for 40 years. And the person who was selling the property has been living outside the country. And under the law, if you stay in a property, it's called adverse possession for 12 years without anyone officially own that property. That property belongs to you.
And where would you get the right documents so that you own it?
Yeah, now, because they know, legally it's not yours, but the fact that you have stayed there, those laws were introduced to protect squatters. But the land is believed to belong to the government. It's not like, so the moment they just assume the fact that you didn't need that land for 12 years, this person, the squatter who has stayed there, needed that land. So when you go and you prove that you have stayed in that land, even if the title deed is in the name of the original owner, it will be changed to your name if you have stayed there for 12 years. So that land visit is important, because now if you find such a situation, if you make payment, that person, if they claim adverse possession, they'll get. So that land already, you can't get that property. So that land visit is important. Also to confirm the issue of boundaries. Because sometimes you'll find the neighboring plot, someone has built their house and it has taken apart, beyond their. Because there's also a client who went and was like, the neighboring person has built a house and it has just taken a portion of my land.
And it could be a permanent house.
Yes, it's a permanent house, but now the seller was now telling our client, it's just a small portion, just small. Don't worry. But after bringing in a surveyor, the surveyor confirmed half that house that was in her property.
Oh my God! What happens? They just demolish the house, isn't it?
Yeah, no, for such a situation, now for you, because you want to buy that property, you just don't go ahead to buy it, because now that means that person has taken half of your land. Yeah. So those are some of the things. The reason doing the land visit is to just confirm everything is. But most people don't do that. But sometimes you go. There's a story I've heard of where you go, you find it's just a cliff. There's nothing. It's not even land. So after doing that search, the second thing is to do a land visit, and it's advisable to use a land survey, because for them they understand. For you, even me as an advocate, you see land is just vacant. Soon a surveyor who will explain to you better.
Yeah, you can't have that knowledge.
Yes, knowing. Yeah, so you just get, because the surveyor will even get a map for that property in the lands registry. Then he'll come and look at it and he's like, this land is okay, or this land there's an issue. This neighbor has put beacons far beyond their property. Yeah.
So when someone is making payments, which mode is more safe? What that you can advise? Because I've had people taking cash, literally.
Yeah. The best, never take cash, because cash you don't have evidence of payment. So the best is bank transfer. Even M-Pesa, the good thing with M-Pesa nowadays, it has a tray. Yeah. So that's another mistake people normally make. You find someone has seen a property before even doing the sale agreement, sitting down with a lawyer, maybe to have an agreement written, they've already made the entire payment.
Oh, by the way, we've just jumped to payment.
Yeah, but now apart from the mode of payment, how you make that payment, you start with 10% at least of the value. Yeah, 10% of the value of the property. Before now, after you've done, after doing that part comes in after now you've done the search at the land register, and you've done the physical visit to the surveyor.
We started with the confirmation.
Yes.
We went to search.
Yeah, search, and then now physical visit using the surveyor.
Yes. And then now.
But even the next one first, before even doing the payment, you also have to, if it's a leasehold, there's normally freehold and leasehold. If it's a leasehold property, leasehold is only you own it for 99 years, then you have it renewed. The government leases it to you for 99 years. And after 19 years, you have to renew it again. So you have to make sure you find out how many years are remaining first, if it's a leasehold property. So someone might be selling to you and the 99 years already lapsed and they didn't reapply. Because if you don't reapply, that property can be given to someone else.
Or back to the government.
Yeah, or it goes back to, so you might be buying a property that has either been given to someone else, has applied for it, or it has been taken back to the government. So that's another thing you must make sure. And the best way you can make sure is also also confirming if the rates have been paid for that property. For every property, it's paid at the county office. So for instance, if your property is in Nakuru, you go to Nakuru County Office. If it's in Fika County Office. So you just go and do the search, then you are given a rate certificate. So you know if this person has been paying for rates, or if this person has not been paying.
Tell me about the rates, Ruth. Every land should be paid rates.
No, only leasehold property. freehold you don't pay for. Not there's some freeholds you pay for, but normally it's normally for leasehold. The ones for 99 years that have been subleased from the government. There are freehold that have not been subleased from the government. That's why you find like where you inherit, like maybe you have inherited from your great grandfather, your grandfather inherited, then your father, then now you will inherit.
So
Yeah, the one that
those ones don't have
you don't have to pay for rates for that one. But now the one for leasehold, the one for 99 years is where you have to pay for rates. So that part, so you must confirm like the person you're buying from has been paying, because there are people who don't pay. So you find that person has never paid, so even it has accumulated to almost $1 million. So that's why you have to confirm.
So how do you know whether that this property is not a leasehold while this other one is a leasehold?
You normally know from the title deed. The title deed. But anyway, just to be safe, because there's some freeholds nowadays you have to pay for. Just to be safe, just go to the county office just to confirm. You'll know from there when you tell them the title number of they'll tell you this is not, you don't pay for it. It's a property that you don't have to pay for it. And if it's being paid for, so the best way you can do, because but at this stage you find someone has not contracted a lawyer. But now what I can advise people, if at this stage, just make sure, just go to the county office and just confirm. Let them be the one telling you this property you don't have to pay for it. Because there's one, we had a client who the rates were almost $1 million, because that person had never paid. But the good thing with that, so you see, if your client had proceeded to purchase that property, you would have inherited. Because you'll do the transfer, it goes back to your name. So when you go to the land registry, you have inherited. Pay. Yeah, you'll have to pay. So it's good. But sometimes, that should not be a hindrance. If there's a rate balance, unless it's too much, like $1 million. But if it's maybe, let's say 100,000, what you normally advise, you can now make an agreement with the seller. You're like, for you have a balance, you're selling me this land at 1 million, so you can sell it to me at 900,000. You deduct, then I'll pay after now the property has been transferred. Yeah.
So now we have confirmed that it's not on leasehold. That is when we engage the lawyer.
I normally advise you're supposed to engage the lawyer from the beginning.
From the beginning.
It's advisable you engage the lawyer from the beginning, because most of these people you don't know, like even doing the search for the company, I don't think everyone knows that part, how to do it even, how to do the search. Or how to do the search of the company. I don't think a lot of people know, because it's not common knowledge. And also even doing the search at the land registry, some people don't know the procedure of how to do it, or even which land registry. Because if your land is in, for instance, Ngong and Kajiado, is Ngong land registry, there's Kajiado. So your property, if it's in Kajiado North, I think it's Kajiado North, you have to go to Ngong. If it's Kajiado South, you go to Kajiado land registry. Now that's why from the beginning it's advisable. And also the leasehold part, knowing how many years are remaining, I normally advise it's good when you have a lawyer to advise you. Because some banks, they won't even finance you if you're buying a leasehold that's almost 99 years. Because they have that, if you're paying it, let's say for 10 years and the balance of the 99, maybe it's 10 years.
It will split over to
So they are not sure if the government will take it back or give it to you.
Yeah, sure.
So I think from the beginning, I normally advise people from the beginning, get a lawyer, because the lawyer will give you a quotation of handling the entire matter.
But the reason why sometimes people fear to involve lawyer, there is this issue that a lawyer will tell you, I don't know, there is special sitting, I don't know. You understand those terms? I don't.
Consent, yes. The consent board. There's normally the board, the normal board. The normal board sits I think it depends on the land registry where the land is. For instance, I think the one for Kajiado, their offices are in Isinya. I think they sit at the beginning of every month. At the beginning, so before 10th they'll have sat. But not that the issue of the special consent comes in. It's normally, by this something not legal.
Because people don't understand that special thing.
It's normally not legal. It's something that is a backdoor thing, but it works. Of course, Kenya the way it is. It's not legal. But no, this one comes in because, that's what I've told you, you may find like the one for Kajiado sits by 5th they have sat. But for you, have bought this property on 10th. Now, sometimes you want to
have to wait.
Yeah, so some people don't want to wait till next month for the board to sit. That's where the special comes in. So it should
you say it's illegal.
It's not illegal.
It's not illegal.
I can just say it's not legal.
But it's not illegal.
Because even if you get, it's the same people who will sign it for you.
Oh, okay.
It's the same people. Let me not call it illegal. It's not illegal.
It's not illegal.
It's just that it's not something that it has been allowed to be done.
Let's call it a shortcut or something.
Shortcut,
but
it's Kenya, everything is possible. So you find the reason people go for that special consent is because they can't wait for the next time the board sits. Some board sits at the end of the month. Now you see you can't wait for the month to end. Then
So now we go to sale agreement.
After confirming the rates, now that's when the sale agreement comes in.
What entails the sale agreement?
So the sale agreement, I normally tell people, when you do the search at the land registry, it will only show you who is the owner, if it has a loan, because those are the ones that are required by law to be registered there, like who the owner is. If someone has taken a loan, it has to be registered there. But if there's a case in court, there's no law that requires someone to register it at the land. So you may do a search and it's okay, but that property has a case in court. Mm-hmm. So this is now where the sale agreement comes in. There's a section you'll put there just to ensure the things that you didn't like, just to cover everything up. Yes. So you put there, if in case there's a case law, this is a ground for us to withdraw, for the buyer to withdraw from this agreement. Yes, sure. Yeah, so it's more of protecting yourself. And you also put issues like dispute resolution, like in case the completion date first, you agree. It's normally the law requires 90 days, but it's an agreement between parties. So you can decide, some even decide it's 8 months because they're paying in installments. So you decide, the agreement now entails the completion date, the number of now dispute resolution. Now, for instance, if you have said our completion date is 90 days, what happens if by 90 days one person has not done what they're supposed to do? Mm-hmm. The buyer has not made payment, the seller has not surrendered the title deed for transfer. Mm-hmm. So that's now where the sale agreement comes in to protect. It's just to ensure you've protected yourselves, so that in case of anything, you've covered everything.
It's like I've not seen, it's not normally done on the other side of the seller. Normally, they like talking about the purchaser only.
Yeah, what the purchaser, and they also don't put issues like, now they was telling you, if in case there's a case law, if in case this happens, so it's one-sided. So I normally advise people, sale agreement, ensure you have your own personal lawyer who will protect your own interests. Because me, the moment, if I'm representing you as the buyer, the purchaser's advocate, now the advocate of the company, has to send me the sale agreement. I have to look at it if it has protected you, because circumstances, facts are different. Maybe you're buying a land that needs to be subdivided. So we can't accept a situation where we have to pay the entire purchase price. So they have to tell us the subdivision will take maybe 2 months. Yes. So we tell them the second installment we'll be paying is after the subdivision has been done. Yes, sure.
Yeah, to protect the... Yeah. So now, after the sale agreement and we've agreed, maybe if I'm able to pay the whole amount, the transfer should be immediately.
Yes, if you are able to pay the whole amount at that time, the transfer is done immediately. It's not immediately. What happens is now the seller will give you everything.
Yes.
So the condition will be, after you make all the payments,
what do you mean by everything?
Everything that you need to do the transfer. Yeah. So they'll even surrender the original title deed to you. They'll give you the consent. The consent, I think the consent is gotten by the seller.
Yes.
So the consent, they give you everything that you need for the transfer. There's normally photocopies of the IDs, certified copies, passport photos of the seller. So they'll give you everything that you need for the transfer, and then you pay. They give you everything. Now you go and do the transfer on your end. Yeah, some you end, everything ends there. Then for you now you go and do the transfer. Sure. Then for the ones that you are paying first a deposit, then you pay the rest with time. You just follow. Now you will have. And I normally advise, be detailed. Like if it's you're paying it in installments, be specific. Like the first installment will be in January. The second installment will be in February. This date, so that in case of anything.
Otherwise, there is no law that governs installment. There is no written law.
Yeah, the law leaves it open for the parties.
Yeah, to agree.
To agree.
Okay.
Because parties are left, because circumstances are normally different. Sure. So the law just does. That's why the law will follow what you have decided. There's no right procedure. So long as you haven't it's not fraud and everything. You have not broken any laws. The law will follow your sale agreement. So when you go to court will see, what did you say in a sale agreement? It's 180 days.
Sure. Now, that means after the sale agreement,
after
the payment
normally happens. If now you are not paying the entire amount, it's normally now the consent.
The consent.
Yes. What happens for the consent? But I normally advise people, if the consent, consent, it can be denied. Because what consent is, getting the consent is now the land control board consents this property to be sold. Sure. So sometimes you may find it's a husband selling a matrimonial property. That consent will be denied. So I normally tell people, don't rush, wait for that consent to be given. And if that person is married, there must be spousal consent.
What are the consents? What are the contents of the consent?
Basically, they just the land control board is saying this property doesn't have there's no fraud. This person actually selling is actually the owner. What I think the best way someone can understand, land control board ni wazee wa kijiji.
In simpler terms.
Yeah, ni wazee wa kijiji who know now everyone. So they know, like, let's say a guy called Richard lives there. Anataka kuuza hii shamba. So they know the facts of everything. They know this Richard, they know him well. So they know hiyo shamba yenye anauza si ya familia. Familia yake si ati itabaki bila shamba akiuza. He's not going to leave his family without anything. It's not fraudulent. Everything is legit. So that's why if it's a husband, there must be a spousal consent, which is attached, so that the control board can see the wife as agreed. There must be a consent from the wife.
I have a question there, and I know most spouses might be interested. Assuming you got married, or you both got married, while assuming you are my husband, and you married me when you already have the property. Do you still need my consent to sell your property?
No, it only applies to property that was. But no, this one will apply if we didn't sign a prenup. It will apply. But normally it only applies to property that you are sold when you are married. But now if you didn't do a prenup basically means the property that I came with is mine alone. The property that you came with is yours alone. Then now we start acquiring property together. If there was no prenup, that's matrimonial property. If there was no prenup, if you didn't have a prenup, that's matrimonial property. Like now that's, like for instance, if for me, now I'm your husband, I bought this property, I've built a home, this is where we are living.
You can't wake up one morning and say,
I can't wake up one morning and we have children. Like even we don't have to have, but we are legally married and this is our property. I can't wake up one day and just sell without your consent.
What about a wife? Can she just sell what she has without the consent of the husband?
It applies both sides.
Both sides.
Unless you signed a prenup saying that being specific, these properties, like me, I've come with 2 plots, I've come with a car, I've come with this and this, but these are my properties. Then you also say I come with this, But if there's no prenup, that it falls under, so you have to get the consent. And because of, I normally tell people, someone will lie. Mostly it happens to, like it can be a husband or a wife. The husband may try to sell that property, but now me, I may try to sell, as your husband, I may try to sell that property, and I know you will not consent to me selling that property. So I go and lie I'm not married. Either I lie I'm not married, or I forge. Of course, you're now, for instance, you're my wife, I can access your ID. So I just get your ID. I just go and maybe we are dealing with a lawyer. I tell my lawyer, my wife is so busy, but here is the ID and everything. Just write I'll take it to her to sign. Then they'll do then of course your husband will bring it to you. So they forge the signature. As your husband, of course, knows how your signature might look. So they may just forge the signature. So that's why, if a person tells you they are not married, let them do an affidavit stating they are not married. So that in case the wife comes or the husband comes and says this property, someone sold, we are married and they sold this property without my consent, you have evidence. They have written sworn an affidavit saying, I'm selling this property and I confirm as at this date as I'm selling this property, I'm not a married person. So it's good to also get an affidavit person saying that they are single. Even banks nowadays, they require that when someone is getting a loan and is purchasing property. So the bank will ensure you write that affidavit. If you're a single person, you have to write that I'm single. If you are married, a spousal consent.
So now we've transferred the property.
After the consent is now you go to the land to register the transfer. Then valuation is done. There's normally valuation. The valuer, every land register has a government valuer. They just ensure that property has valuation is basically the government ensuring you're not stealing money from them. Because some people will sell a 1 million property at 500,000. So, of course, that means if the government is getting 2%, it will get less money. So they just want to ensure like you're not undervaluing the property. So they have to know how much you sold this property, then they tell you how much stamp duty you'll pay.
You mean when I'm selling a property, I have to do valuation?
You have to do valuation of that property if you don't know the value of the property in that area. The valuation is done by the government, but now for you to just make sure you're not undervaluing the property, get just a private land valuer, a registered land valuer. They tell you this is it's normally advisable to get a
Do people normally do that?
A lot of people, think so, because most people normally know. You know, when it's your property,
You know the
chances are
value.
very high you know the value, especially if you intend to sell it. So you know, and you know it's normally an estimate. Of course, if maybe property here, let's say here where we are, it's 1 million. It doesn't have to be exactly 1 million. It can go as less maybe to 800 and as high as 1.2. 1.3, so it doesn't have to be exact.
Okay.
Yeah. So after the valuation is done, you pay stamp duty. Then now the transfer is done.
Then the transfer is done.
Yeah, the transfer now is finally done.
And the land is yours.
Yes, but I normally tell people that's not automatic. We have had a situation where
Yes.
those people, you know, people who do the transfers, you know, it's normal. What normally happens when you take the title, if I'm selling you land, of course the title is under my name, Ruth, but it's supposed to go to Beatrice's name. So they normally do now, I've given out my title now, which has Ruth, but it's supposed to be changed to Beatrice. They just cancel that title deed.
Again.
And another one is made, or now with your name. Another one is, they normally leave, another one is made under your name. But remember, these people, they have to also change the green card. There's the green card. Now that's what, whenever you do a search, you know who's the owner of this property. So that's why, even when you do a search, they'll tell you this person is the 5th person to own this property. The first person was this person, the second, they don't write all the people, they just tell you this person is the 5th person to own this property. Unless you want now details is when you can now go to lands. So what normally happens, some people forget to change in the green card. So you find, I've already transferred the property to you, you even paid me, you have, the title even is reading your name, but now they didn't change in the green card. The green card it's a file that now has the original of everything. So like right now, if you want to go and confirm, there when you do a search, you know, they look at the green card. When you do a search of this property, they look at the green card. Who's the last person who wants this property? This person. So sometimes they don't change in the green card. So that's why I normally tell people after the transfer has been done, after now the title is reading your name, go and do a final search now. Just a normal search that you did at the beginning to see if this the seller is there. So do a search to confirm it has not been transferred to your name. Some by then it's human error. Those people are human beings who work there at the land register. So someone forgets to key in the green card.
Yes,
so if you don't confirm, the property will be, even if someone you want to sell that property or you want to take a loan, the bank of course has lawyers that work for them. So as a lawyer of the bank, if now for instance KCB reaches out, this person wants to get a loan using this property, the first thing I'll do is go and do a search. But the search now will be reading still Ruth.
But
even though the title is yes. So that's why it's important you do that search. I normally say do it immediately if possible, so the changes can be done fast. Don't wait like 3 years later, because that one is going to the land registrars change. You may find laws change almost every year. Things have changed, so do immediately. The moment you maybe give them maybe a week or two. After 2 weeks, 1 week,
you go to the land registry.
Yeah, go even now, just go and do a search. Not even to check, just do a search to see if now it shows it's under your name.
Oh, because yeah.
Remember initially it was under my name,
Yeah,
but now I've sold it to you. So just go and confirm if it's now under Beatrice. Because sometimes you may do a search and it's still under Ruth. The person didn't, human error. They didn't do the change in the green card. So I normally tell people the last step is a postal search. After now doing that postal search, after now everything has been done and it's under your name, now you can celebrate. That's now your property.
That's your property.
Yeah, you know online. We normally even tell our clients when they're coming to, after we're done the postal search, they're coming for their title deeds, we tell them now you're an official landowner. Before that, at least you have confirmed.
It was just a mention.
Yeah.
Okay, Ruth, there is this incident whereby there is, I don't know how is it true that the government nowadays restricts people to sell land less than 50 by 100? No? Is it 50 by 100?
Yeah, it's normally 50 by 100. It's not a restriction per se. There's just some areas by then that's restriction going on. That's why even nowadays, unless it's property, especially new, not an old title, like just a new property that has been subdivided.
Yes.
It's hard to find. It's normally below 50 by 100. It's normally unless it's now property that is someone bought like 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 3 years ago. But now currently the government is, there's that thing where the government is trying to restrict a property that is less than 50 by 100. Like the maximum is supposed to be 50 by 100. There are even some areas like Isli. If someone is selling you a property that's less, there's no property that's below 50 by 100 in Isli. There is no property that's below 50 by 100. So the moment someone is trying to sell you a property that is below 50 by 100, unless it's property that they attained, it's normally, there's a question mark. So I normally tell people the moment that property is less than 50 by 100, first go. Anyway, at lands, if you do the search at the land registry, you'll know. If of course you do the search and it comes out this is on and everything is okay, that's good to go. For these ones, by the way, there's no, like, I won't tell you exactly like this is what the government has said, what this is exactly what. There's no, like, so the only way you can know is by doing a search. Just do the search, go, because of course if it's land that is not, because when you do the search, they'll even give you the number of hectares of that property. You can confirm everything, yes.
So now the whole story that you've just told us, you've summarized under this book.
Yes, everything I've talked about, but even I've started with the mistakes people make before even doing the land legal process that we have just gone through. Yes. I've started with the mistakes people normally make. Yes. Like now the one failing to do a search, failing to do a land visit, the mistakes people make, and then the second I've also talked about the beginner's guide, a guide, because there's also the issue of there's a lot of things that go into land. If you want to buy a commercial property, there's some area that is strictly residential. So if you don't do your search well, you'll find yourself buying a commercial property in a residential area. And after now, the moment you'll know is now when you want to construct. Then you're trying to get all the approvals that's necessary. You're being told this property you can't build commercial. It's a residential area. And doing change of user is so expensive. Or some even they doesn't have change of user. Yes. Now you see you'll have limited yourself. So that's why there's a beginner's guide where we have talked about all those things you should know. And then we have also talked about the legal process of buying land, others we have gone through. And I've made it, the reason it's small, I've simplified it as much as possible to a common, just, I was even thinking like this book is just that it's in English. I want a book that if my grandmother
can read and understand, yes. So that those people will not be conned again.
Yes, okay. That's why I made it as simple as possible. There's even someone who told me the moment he saw a book and it was written by a lawyer, at first they were hesitant because they're like, they have abused those hard words that they normally use. Yes, sure. But no, I even made
just use normal English, simpler.
Being a lawyer, sometimes you might find you might put those words. So that's why I made sure my editor wasn't a lawyer. I made sure my editor is just he's a professor in English in Egerton University. So I made sure the person who was doing it is not a lawyer, just to make sure he simplifies. But then I think the editing, I did it 3 times to ensure it's simple as much as possible, because you could tell me this part, it's more complex, simplify it. Yes. And I've made it practical. That's why after every chapter, there's a list, a checklist. When now, if you're buying land, I was even telling people this is a book, you can even go with it now, because now you look at it, you're like, have I done a search?
Or when you want to buy land, you actually carry it.
Yeah, it's practical, because you can tick, you're like, I've done this, I haven't done this, I've done this, yeah.
So, whoever is watching you, maybe they would like to have this book.
Yeah, if you want a copy of the book, we currently, especially let me first tell the price is 1,000, but October, since it's my birthday month, I have an offer. It's going for half the price. But it's now going for 500 shillings. So if you are to get this copy within October, you get it at 500. To get a copy, you can email us at info@ruththanuiadvocates.co.ke, or there's also a number you can call 0714 457 082.
Kindly repeat.
0714 457 082, or email info@ruththanuiadvocates.co.ke, or our website. You can also purchase it from our website, www.ruththanuiadvocates.co.ke. And then we have them in Raffle Books. It's an online store. Raffle Books and Nuria Bookstore. Okay. Yes.
I've read this book, guys. It's one of the best.
Thank you.
Kindly inbox her and place your order. It's something you don't want to miss. It's called Simplified Legal Process of Buying Land. Avoid getting conned. Yeah, exactly. It's one nice book. Now, Ruth, there is let me be specific, because we are dealing with women. There is that girl somewhere looking at you. She wants to be a lawyer. And they are told law is one hard course you can. First of all, you even need the highest grades. I don't know, you need to do that. Kindly. The way you simplified this book.
I simplified.
Yes, simplify it again for them.
Oh, okay. So what I would tell someone, first of all, it's not, I normally tell people, I remember something when you tell someone, I want to study law, they'll be like, law utawezana kweli. You don't talk, ukae mtu talkative, ukae mtu, by the way, it's not about, I was even telling people, you can be the person who talks the most, but law is about facts. So long as you understand the law, when you're arguing also, you argue according to the law. So no one to even tell you about that thing that you're supposed to be a person who argues, who does what. Even though you're the most quiet person, and this is your passion, you can still go for it, because law is about facts, so long as that's something you want. And another thing, if someone like me has done it and I've made it, there are a lot of I think when you look at like when admissions are being done, almost like 4 times in a year they're admitting over 200 lawyers. If for them they have done it, also you can do it. So it's not, let people not lie to you, and doesn't need, by the way, with C+ you can do law, but just make sure you've passed English and Kiswahili.
And maths.
Yes. No, maths even is not that much. They focus on English and Kiswahili. Yes. But the lawyers are the worst mathematicians.
Don't say.
Yeah. Lawyers are the worst mathematicians. Even if you see every law, most law people have done law. Most people, you find them, they didn't do so well in mathematics, but they look at English and Kiswahili mostly. Okay. Yeah. So if you have, and this is something you want, just go for it. If I've done it, a lot of people have done it. It's something you can do it.
Yeah, sure.
So if it's something you want, and normally it's even not even about law. Anything you want to do, let no
go
one
for
tell
it.
you. People normally project their fears. You know, if for me I'm scared of, if you tell me something and for me I'm scared of something, I'll project that to you. Sure. So as long as it's something you want to do, go for it. Let finances not stop you. We have had people who maybe they didn't have guardians to pay for them, but what they do, they could even go and work. They hustle as much as they can. They approach like this CDF funds and everything. Just go for your dream. Yeah.
Nothing should stop you.
Yeah, nothing should stop you. As
Sure.
Obama normally say, yeah, you can.
You
Yes,
can. And our very own Kipchoge say, no man is limited.
Yeah. A lot of people, by their dreams are killed by, you tell people, I want to do this, I want to do this.
They're
People tell
telling,
you,
no, that one. No. Think about something else.
If someone already feels maybe something like law or a doctor is a very huge thing, the moment you tell them that, of course, that's what they'll project. They'll be like,
sure.
you utaweza.
Utaweza. Wachana, achia wenyewe.
Yeah, achia wenyewe, you utaweza. If you want
Sure.
to do it, just go for it.
Thank you very much, Ruth. I'm so, should I say, you are rich of, I don't know, how do I put it? That information, this information is just not enough here. I think.
Yeah, it's just because of time.
Yeah, because of time. I know there are so many people there with so many questions. I think one day we will organize a full forum, so that whereby people will come and ask questions directly. Yeah, sure. Thank you for accepting to be interviewed by us. Yeah, it has.
The moment you reach, I feel this is something, a good impact. If you continue doing this, I'm sure it's going to impact a lot of people. Because it's a place where they was telling you, you'll show people they can. Because someone has just seen me, because I'm from Transmara.
Yeah, sure.
Like, that's where I originate from. This is a girl from Transmara, and she has made it to be, like, you can do it.
You can do it.
Yeah, it's just to show people they can. If this person has done, they have done it. Yeah, so it's a good platform. I'm honored to be here. In fact, I'm honored to be here. So continue doing what you're doing. It's a good platform.
Thank you very much.
Don't stop. Yeah, just keep. About questions, I was saying people can put their questions down on the comment section of this. Yeah, on the comment section, and then maybe through your social media platforms.
You can answer.
We can do a live, or then I can answer them.
Yeah, sure.
Especially concerning land, because a lot of people, also women, don't be shy to buy plots. Buy property. I normally feel proud when I normally enjoy when I have women buying clients who are buying property. It's normally one of my best clients are women purchasing property. Because you don't have, even though you are either married or not married, just if you can invest in property. Because many young ladies are investing in property. So, go for it.
So apart from law, Ruth, we know lawyers are very serious. I don't know, they can't have fun. Apart from law, what else do you like? What's your hobby, maybe?
Okay, I can say my hobby, apart from law, I was almost saying reading also falls, but reading novels, watching, I'm that person, weekend you'll find Netflix and chill. watching movies, and also hanging out with friends. Those are some of the things. Traveling is another thing that even we work so hard. Yeah, you work hard in your profession to afford to travel. So traveling is another thing.
So when you get a chance, you travel.
Yeah, I travel with my friends. Yeah,
sure. That's
when
nice.
I get a chance, because all work without play makes
Jack a dull boy.
It makes sense. You're working so hard,
and then you
not
can't
even having some
fun.
Yes.
Thank you once again.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
You've been watching Chapter Jiri Show, guys. Remember, we are not just making videos. These are inspirational videos. We're not just making stories. These are inspirational videos that inspire. And when you like and share our video, you inspire too. Until next time, bye-bye.
Bye.